Hello, incredible friends. My name is Megan. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today we want to make a card. It's a happy birthday card. It's a great masculine card, and it is using the Best Catch stamp set from the Occasions catalog. And I've got my sentiment stamped. Hopefully you can see that really well. And I also have my matching envelope embossed. And you know what? I already mailed one of these off. But on my other one, I stamped the fish on the front and colored it as well. So today we're going to be making this gray one. But a couple of days ago, I made some that were in soft suede. So, and it's got the copper trim, which is kind of like this netting effect, which I really like that. But I ran out of something. I don't remember if it was a soft suede or crumb cake. So then I decided to make it in the basic gray. So all of the supplies and dimensions will be listed in the description below. Before we get started, I want to invite you to go ahead and click the subscribe button, the big red button, and after you do that, click the bell icon, and that way you'll get notified every time I have a new video out. If you are here in the US and you need a catalog, let me know, and let's go ahead and get started. So again, today we're going to be making this card. This is using the stamp set called Best Catch, which is in the Occasions catalog. And for today's card, instead of using the, this was soft suede, this card base, but today we're going to switch it up a little bit and make it in gray. And this card does have a number of steps, so we'll just jump right into it. You see, this is a birthday card. I've got the Today We Celebrate You with the angler, and I have also embossed my envelope here and stamped that. The first thing I'm going to do, actually first let me do a little bit of stamping, because some of this I can cut out without stamping, but I do need to stamp my fish. So I'm going to ink my fish, and since I'm going to be using Stampin Blends to color him in, so I want to use Memento black ink. So I'll just ink up my stamp. And I'm leaving these pieces on here to make sure that I leave plenty of room to cut this, to stamp and cut him out. So let's just stamp right there. Since I'm stamping, I could go ahead and also do my greeting. I might as well. I'm gonna stamp Happy Birthday in basic gray. So you can see that. While we have the ink pad out, I'm gonna go ahead and stamp the inside sentiment for my card. I'm going to be stamping Today We Celebrate You. And I'm just eyeballing it, but I'm stamping it kind of up towards the top and center, but not exactly at the top. But for the angler on this panel, I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper because I want him, let's see how dark this is. I don't want him to show up that dark. So I'm going to stamp off once there on scrap, and then I'm going to stamp on there. So you see it's there, it's light. Okay, so that is it for our stamping. Now I'm going to bring my magnetic plate, the one clear plate, and my layers. So I'm going to cut out my Happy Birthday. So I'm going to center this frame around that Happy Birthday greeting. I'm going to place this framelit, which this one takes just a little bit of making sure everything's in the right spot, which I think now it is. And then I need one circle. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to cut these out, and also I need to get a frame. So if you look at this card, I have this piece right here, and to get that, I need to cut out 2 of these circles. I mean, I'm cutting out once, but I need 2 of these layers to make the frame. Run this through the Big Shot like this, well, with the clear plate on top, and then I'll run this one through right on top, and then we'll be right back. You see I have all my cutout shapes here and my frame. Now I'm going to bring in my Big Shot platform because I want to do some embossing. One clear plate. I have my Seaside Textures embossing folder, and I want this to mimic water. And since my card is sort of in portrait mode, I'm going to lay my cardstock like this, place that there, and then I'll run it through the Big Shot, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I have my embossed layer. I'll set that off to the side along with my inside panel. I'm going to bring back in my scrap piece of paper. And now we want to do some coloring on this. I've got pineapple yellow. Pineapple punch, which is a bright yellow. And I'm going to run some yellow over a good portion of it. Not necessarily all of it, we'll see. When you do this, you want to start from the edge of your paper and then work your way in. And I like to do this in circular motions to help blend the color best. And right now we're just going to layer on color. Next, I'm going to go grab Balmy Blue and grab a clean sponge. And now I'm going to put the water, or what I want to mimic water, down here on the bottom. I'm going to pull in Pacific Point, and there's a stamp in the set that looks like just little dots of water, or like little bubbles actually. So it's probably where the fish are breathing. So I'm just going to stamp that just a few times there on the bottom. Now I'm ready to adhere this. I'm just going to put snail in a few places. There you go. So that's what we want. I have some old candy dots here that I'm going to apply. If you don't have these, you can use some other sort of embellishment. You could use the pearls and color them with your Stampin' Blends if you'd like to do that. And this space right here I can leave blank because I'm going to be putting my fish there. I'm going to bring out my basic gray. There's one more item that I should have done a little while ago. I'm going to grab the tip of my sponge. I'm going to lightly dampen this with gray, and then I'm just going to edge this in gray. Okay, now we're ready to start coloring our fish. I'm going to use Stampin' Blends for that, and I'm going to start with the lightest color. I'm starting out with a light petal pink. And even though this is called a light petal pink, it really looks more peach to me than pink. Next, I'm going to bring in the light Granny Apple Green. That's this one. And I'm going to color the rest of my fish. I'm going to come in now with the dark Granny Apple Green and just do some shading. So I'm going to come at the top of his body here and blend this in a bit. I'm also just going to outline the fins. If you want to blend in those darker lines with the lighter ones, just come back in again with the light and blend that dark into the light. Then when it dries, you'll still see the shading and the difference, but it'll just look more blended. Next, we're ready to assemble our card. I have a piece of ribbon here. This is the striped metallic ribbon. It's really fun and really masculine. So I have a piece of that. I'm going to grab my glue dots. And I'm going to place a glue dot on each end of the ribbon. I'm just going to eyeball it, but I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch. Wrap it around to the back. I'm going to lay this flat. Okay. Going to add adhesive to the back of this layer. And I am going to use more adhesive than normal because this is an embossed paper that with the waves has a lot of movement, and I don't want it to tear. Bring in my card base here and smooth this out. I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive to the inside panel for the card as well. bring in dimensionals for the back of this panel. And I'm going to be generous with the dimensionals because most likely this card will go in the mail, and I don't want it to flatten out when it runs through the mail meter. I'm also going to put dimensionals on the back of my greeting. Now on this fish, when you die cut the fish, there's a little cut for the fin, and if you want, you can kind of take your hand and just very gently curl it. Same thing with this end fin here. You can just sort of curl it around. Now, obviously when it gets mailed, it might get flattened some, but it still kind of pokes up. Just gives it a little bit of extra interest there. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this, and we'll adhere him to our card as well. So what do you think? Do you like the gray card or the brown card? I can't decide. I like them both. They're different. I like the trim on this one because it has kind of that net effect. It looks like a little net, which this is the copper trim, if any of you guys want to know. Leave me a comment below and let me know if you like the gray or the brown. And again, don't forget to emboss the flap of your envelope so it looks like little bubbles. Thought that was cute for the fish. And then we have our inside greeting. Thanks again for joining me today. I hope that I inspired you to try this stamp set. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed making this card. I think it's a lot of fun. It's also great, easy to change the sentiment here. Instead of a birthday, you could make it as a Father's Day card or congratulations, anything really, but it's a great masculine card or a great card for anyone in your family who likes to fish. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please click the thumbs up for the like, and don't forget to subscribe before you go, and we'll see you again next week. Have an incredible week.